Please join us in our next segment of Epic Entrepreneur Podcast, where we will interview David McLean of Linear Solutions out of Randleman, North Carolina. Top 3 things that made you successful in business and how others can follow in your footsteps.
Thank you, Arthur. Thank you for having me. I look forward to the time together today. The top 3 things that, I feel that made me successful. And number one, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs will probably be able to relate to this, not afraid of the hard work. Everyone's watched Shark Tank and you hear how they talk about you got to put in your time and all that. And, we're all familiar with, the first one in, the last one out type thing. So hard work has always been in my veins all the way back to my youth. And so that's number one, I think, a big part of my success. Number 2 is I care deeply for our employees. As I was building up the company, I also had in mind, how can I be giving back to our community and helping others? And I think for me, luckily, I learned early on, hey, we can do good just by helping the people that are helping us. So for very early on, our employees have been very important to us. So as a growing business, competing with much larger businesses, how do you compete? Well, you can compete salary-wise, but that's not the only thing. So, investing into the employees and benefits and all of that stuff and letting them know you care and having their back. So for me, I think that's been very important. We don't have much turnover. And I do believe that if you asked any one of our employees if I cared about them and what we do, they would tell you absolutely. And the other is I also care deeply for our customers. Now, our employees come first. So now a bad employee doesn't become ahead of a good customer, but a good employee will always be in the highest priority for us at Linear Solutions over our customers, because we need our employees to take care of our customers. So I feel like over time, by me having the background that I have, and in type of, personally through education and what I've done my entire life, is I understand our customers' needs when they come to us, and being able to communicate that with them on the same level playing field that they're on, and not just strictly from a sales point, hey, we got to get this order in. Understanding their need, taking the time, communicating effectively and passionately with them to make them successful in their projects. So I feel those are the top 3 that has made myself and our company successful. And my advice to others would be, understand what it is you're asking your employees to do. If you're going to have employees, understand it. And be specific in what you're asking them to do. Don't expect them to understand the conversation that's going on between your 2 ears. You have to communicate it to it. You got to be able to do it, respectfully, personally with them, and listen to them, get their feedback, but never forget about your customer. You got to have customers to have employees.
Exactly. Thank you. That's a good point. The last couple of weeks, I'm already in group 7 with the 12-week management masterclass that Action Coach gives. And it is so incredible to see, including myself, many times as owners, as managers, we think that the employees can read what's between our ears, but it isn't so. So we have to communicate to make sure to be clear what it is that we want, et cetera, because we can't just, bark an order and expect that it's going to be done the way we want it if we don't give specifics.
Absolutely. I have one of my longtime employees that's been with me since, I would say, year 1 or 2, and think the world of him. And he and I can joke and get on to each other like, no one else can. But one day he told me, he came to me, he says, David, you have to understand, I can't understand the conversation between your 2 ears. We have to talk about it. And that's always, I remember that was years ago, and that's always stood out to me. And he was absolutely right. But I reminded him I couldn't understand what was between his 2 ears either.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, communication.
Yeah, both ways, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
and 2 other things I wanted to touch upon on the 3 points you mentioned. One of them is, be willing to put in the hours, and not being afraid of the hard work. And that's the same as business, as in the movies, in music or whatever. We see the people who've become successful and think they were an overnight success, but we don't see the many hours that they've had to put in to practice and for you to build the company. So to the outside world is, oh my God, yeah, okay, they're a successful business owner, they've done it like that. But I'm glad one of the things that you mentioned is that you have to be willing to make that commitment to do basically whatever it takes, and especially put in the time to get where you want to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't stop ever. It's just what you're spending your time in changes. Now, yeah, over time, you get to spend more time doing other things, but, you have to continuously be educating yourself. Okay, now I've got this part taken care of, educating myself and doing what it takes to get the education, even if it means doing it at 1 a.m. So.
Final question. What top piece of advice would you give to another entrepreneur listening out there or thinking about starting their own business?
Hard work, but hard work wisely. Understanding, the area that you need to work the hardest at, to improve or to educating yourself. And I guess the best way I could answer that is, if I was starting another business today, knowing what I know today, the biggest advice I could give someone is surround yourself with a good team. And it's become more clear. I used to hear people say, you don't want to be the smartest one in the room. But for the longest time, I felt like I was, but now I'm glad that I'm not. And the next time, I don't want to be the smartest one in the room. I just want to know how to organize all the pieces and watch it work well together. So surrounding yourself with a great team, it would be my biggest advice for anyone.
Is just looking forward to the next couple of years, is it the idea to keep growing this company and or maybe start new companies on the side? Well, which direction do you intend to go?
I intend to go both. Okay. I do want to continue to grow this business, but I do have ideas of trying to start other businesses that can supplement linear solutions. I do have a vision of trying to deliver automation to manufacturers at a competitive price point. And in order to do that, I feel like we have to have either stronger relationships in some of the materials we have to procure. And I have some ideas of how to, get into some businesses in those areas to try to drive down some of the costs to linear solutions so that we can better support and supply, great technology and equipment to our customers. So both for me.
And that's a wrap for today's epic conversation here on Epic Entrepreneurs. Huge thanks to our amazing guest for pouring their heart into sharing their journey. Let's make sure you keep dreaming, take massive action, and stay epic.